What's up, guys? How's everything going? Look, things are heating up in Golden State. Jonathan Kuminga, yes, the Warriors' young promising talent, has officially requested a trade. This one comes from heavy hitters. Shams Charania and Anthony Slater dropped the bomb, and everyone's talking about it. The vibe behind the scenes feels completely broken now. Anyone who's been following this knows that Kuminga's relationship with Steve Kerr and the Warriors system was never perfect, but now he's basically stopped playing. This isn't about talent anymore, it's about a full-on rupture. Let's watch this clip together because there's a lot to break down here. So let's go.
I'm going to try to maintain my composure for the next 5 to 12 minutes because Jonathan Kuminga demanded a trade today, as reported by Shams Charania and Anthony Slater. If you listen to the podcast, you know that his agent, Aaron Turner, came on with Anthony Slater to discuss Kuminga's contract situation last fall. It was one of my more remarkable podcasts I've done in the last 10 years at ESPN because we had an active negotiation basically taking place on the podcast, which is unusual. It was, something they wanted to do, And so, Bobby, you've been involved in many negotiations. You've been involved in many trade situations with players. I just want to point out that Jonathan Kuminga, regardless of what you think of him as a talent, regardless of what you think of him as how the Warriors have handled him, which we'll get into, he has not played in 13 games. Okay? He could have played in a game about 2 weeks ago. Steve Kerr announced pregame that because the Warriors were resting players that he was going to play. And then he said his back hurt and he didn't play. You've heard of quiet quitting. The Warriors and Kuminga have quit loudly on each other.
Man, they separated loudly is a strong phrase. What a bizarre situation. What do you guys think? Is Kuminga right to ask for a trade, or should he have tried harder to fit into the team?
And we are talking about a player who is not playing for it. And this is not a comment on him as a person. This is not a comment on his situation. It's not a comment on his talent. We're talking about a player who is not playing on a team that Jimmy Butler says is mediocre, and Steve Kerr says is a fading dynasty, which both comments are accurate in my opinion. So, in what world does a player demand a public trade in a situation like this, Bobby? And I'm going to try to be quiet now and let your expertise in these situations take over.
Well, he could have just let me with my tweet last night at midnight at the Intuit Dome when I said, as the clock strikes midnight, Jonathan Kuminga.
Yeah, well, you weren't helping either with that tweet.
Jonathan Kuminga is now trade eligible along with 10 other players here. He could have let that just sit. And listen, when he signed the contract in October, after that long holdout or negotiation, because he was a restricted free agent, we all knew that January 15th was going to be the day that we would be talking about Jonathan Kuminga. And as you said, it becomes public knowledge that he has asked to be traded, a player that started the first 12 games in Golden State and now has been a DNP, a marriage that has been fading for a long time. And as you know,
Did you notice how even the veterans want a solution ASAP? Man, the locker room vibes are really bad. Hit the like button if you also think this drama should have ended a long time ago.
Definitely broken right now. I think it will be interesting. The veterans have said they want resolution. I think it will be interesting to see.
So do I.
I think it will be interesting because, listen, teams know that Golden State, they think they has to trade Jonathan Kuminga. And I think if you're Mike Dunleavy Jr., their GM, you do want to trade Jonathan Kuminga. But what is coming in, right? Like, what are the offers that are coming in that where you don't have to take back money or where, the goal is to get front court help. But every whether it be Sacramento or some of the other team, they all got guards. Like, I don't know how many more guards this Golden State team needs and everything like that. But we have 3 weeks roughly to the trade deadline here. But I do think it's not something that all of a sudden Mike Dunleavy wakes up this morning and be like, oh my God, we got to trade him. They've been lining up scenarios probably since the start of the season, or even when he signed that contract.
Wendy, I feel
Staying quiet, Vince.
I feel conflicted about this in a way. Don't stay quiet, because Wendy, we have made our bones in this business, being in locker rooms of
Thank God he made the
contentious.
trade demand. Nobody would possibly know that he wanted to be traded.
Not
Thank
at
God.
all. Not no body language. None of that. Right? There's two schools of thought here, and two things can be true: that Jonathan Kuminga is not the greatest fit, and has never been the greatest fit in the Golden State Warriors system, and maybe hasn't necessarily always tried to be in service of all these other guys. You're basically saying, young player, we want you to come in and be in service of Draymond Green on one end, be in service of Stephen Curry on the other end, and to that end, that equals what? That's very difficult in today's NBA, where your contract is going to be measured on how you perform individually, and tell them to do that, and then you win a championship in your first year. So you're like, okay, I've done things in service, now it's my time to do that. Secondarily, if the organization has long known that this player is not a good fit, it should have never gotten this far. Period. It should have never gotten this far. And teams, and Bobby, you can speak to this, teams are so afraid of making a mistake. They're so afraid of letting the guy go too soon that they don't want to cut bait before, NFL, they'll cut you a year before as opposed to a year late. And usually that refers to like age and performance, not necessarily fit. But this has been bad fit from the beginning. They should have never drafted his ass to begin with. Like, we can just say that. They should have never drafted him to begin with, whether it was a 2 timelines or not. And they have not wanted to come off of that mistake, whether that's, the owner, whether that's, Bob Myers before, and, Mike Dunleavy Jr. now, whatever it was. This move should have been made.
They never should have drafted him. Bam, that one hurts. But it's real. And from the start, Kuminga never really fit the Warriors' style. Do you think this was a front office mistake, or a lack of patience with the player?
Years ago. And now I don't feel bad for either party, because this move has been so long. Y'all ever had a woman quiet quit you? Y'all are too old to have a woman quiet quit you.
No, I don't think so, but
Yeah.
I hope not.
If the answer is no, then if you're not sure, the answer is no. Being quiet quit ain't fun. They just tell you that. It ain't fun. So
I've got some friends where it's happened that I've dealt with tangentially. So, but I gotcha. I gotcha, Vince.
I'm just
You
saying,
need to hit me off offline. I'll help you out.
Well, doesn't that make, like, what, Vince, to your point, like, and I know we play Monday morning quarterback and we look at everything that's happened in Kuminga's situation, and I wonder if you gave Mike Dunleavy Jr. a truth serum right now, it's like the whole restricted free agency process here. Now you're, I don't want to say stuck with a $22 million player, but as I said, like, what happens if you can't trade him, and you basically, the situation continually evolves with that locker room? It's almost like part of you thinks that, would you rather just have had him not on the roster this year? And I know you look at him as a trade asset, and he's restricted, and you can parlay him into something here. But that's going to be on the other end, it's like, well, we would have probably been better off not even just having him on our roster. Yeah.
Well, I would just say the team that really wanted him was the Sacramento Kings, right? They wanted him in the summer. And according to Slater and Shams reporting, they still want him now. And the Warriors had a standard that they wanted for the deal, and they wouldn't do the deal. There may be another team or two that has interest, but with all due respect to my former colleague here at ESPN, Scott Perry, the Kings are not known for being thought leaders. So, I mean, like, what does it say that, like, people aren't beating down the doors for this guy when he was a restricted free agent?
Well, I wouldn't say that's fair. When Scott just got there, you can't put 20 years of Kings ineptitude on one executive when that mess is a mess. I don't think Kuminga necessarily takes a big leap away from the mess, but I don't think he adds to it either. Like, they're going to have to, in theory, come up off of Malik Monk. Like, they have a glut of guards as is. They aren't the most athletic. You know what I mean?
I'm just saying, like, there isn't robust interest in him, because if there was, he would have already been traded or signed by somebody else last summer. right?
So you're
That
saying
doesn't
he's a
mean that
player that's not of value?
I'm saying that why has this led to so much consternation? Like, if he is a player of value, the struggling Warriors would be playing him.
Listen, they're. I looked at the numbers this morning. They're 9 points better when he's not on the floor.
I mean, what are we talking about? You know, I mean, like, again, like Aaron was really great to come on the podcast. It's not personal. Okay. I will say this. So every week I do a Q&A on Threads. Okay. I guess it's a plug. If you want to go over on Threads, you can find me. You can send me a message. My colleagues who help me do that, they say to me every single week, guys, for months on end, they get like oodles of questions about Kuminga. Like every week for months. I don't get it. I know the Warriors have a big fan base. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he gets relocated in a year from now. I turn in my All-Star ballot and I'm like, Jonathan Kuminga, beautiful story. What am I missing? I mean,
They're 9 points better with him off the floor. That stat kills any argument. It's hard to defend Kuminga with numbers like that. Subscribe to the channel to follow the next chapters of this saga.
he's a fine player, but my God.
I have a question, Wendy. And I don't like to play devil's advocate because the devil doesn't need an
Yes,
advocate.
you do.
Right?
All right. That's a nice turn of phrase, but yes, you do.
Thank you. Are we we are turning the Warriors into this infallible organization that doesn't make mistakes. And
Well,
we're
that's not
saying
true.
because no, I'm just saying, like the general tone of it, not from you, Wendy. The general tone of it is, man, if you can't fit in there, then it's a problem with you. But there have been players, really good players, who have not fit in there. Like, you remember the Kelly Oubre year where he didn't fit in there, and now, like, granted, it's 3 or 4 years later, he's in Philly, a valuable reserve, a valuable player there. Like, I think sometimes we have to take a step back and say, hey, this can be a good player, a productive player, not leading player, but a helpful player in the right situation. In this situation with Draymond Green, who can't shoot, and Jimmy Butler, who doesn't shoot, isn't going to be conducive to that for this particular player. And it doesn't make the player bad or organization bad. It just means that these two people shouldn't be together. That's all.
Fair point. We've done our 12 minutes. I'm prepared to move on. I wish the Warriors, Jonathan Kuminga, his representation, Shams, Slater, the Warriors fans, the citizens of Santa Clara, the citizens of Northern California. I wish you the best in this process as it unfolds.
Listen, my friend, in about 2 hours in the A and the C block, we like, save yourself here.
I mean, like, seriously, the A and the C. So, like, this is high-level TV parlance. Generally, over the course of an hour-long show, there's 5 blocks. A, B, C, D, E, high-level stuff there. And, let's pull the curtain back a little bit. When we have a really interesting topic on NBA Today, what we do is we have it in the A block, and then what they call retreat it in the C block. The reason they do this is because even in today's day and age, people tend to come to television shows on linear at the top and the bottom of the hour. And so if it's your big story, you come back to it when you hit about the bottom of the hour to re-engage the audience. And many, many days, like, it's good, smart business. Jonathan Kuminga is getting the A and C treatment today, Bobby.
Yes, he is. Hey, he's even getting the trade machine touchscreen treatment, Brian.
Well, in all honesty, like, I need that. Like, I'm prepared. Because actually there is some intricacies with that because the Warriors are so close to the aprons and they can't take back more money. And I want to see where he could go. Like, I think, not to glaze you, as they.
Man, the Kuminga situation is a classic case of a bad marriage from the very beginning. The Warriors tried to force it, thinking they could balance the future with the present, but it clearly didn't work. Steve Kerr never really found the right way to use Kuminga, and Kuminga never fully bought into the system. Brian Windhorst, Bobby Marks, and the rest of the podcast crew told it straight. The Warriors need to resolve this fast, and Kuminga's trade value is already dropping. If even the Kings, who had shown interest before, aren't rushing to make a move, that tells you this is more complicated than it looks. My take, Kuminga can still work out somewhere else, but in Golden State is over. Done. Now we'll see if the Warriors can get anything of value back for him. Enjoy the video, then hit the like button, subscribe, and drop a comment below. Where do you think Kuminga should end up?